Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 2 p.m. on Saturday in Queensland, Australia. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a little video to show you before we get started, and I want to thank my great friend Tracy Allen for helping me do that. Stand by for 10 seconds, I think it is.
Okay, and hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
Okay, tonight's topic is astronomy hacks, and we'll be back in 8 seconds. Okay, this topic was inspired by the book Astronomy Hacks, which Pam has multiple copies of. And in the intro, they have a really good, they say something really interesting, and I like it a lot, and I think you do too.
I love it.
And they say, there is something special about being out under the night sky. We look up and see the stars and constellations, just as our many times great-grandparents did hundreds of years and thousands of years ago. The stars provide a link across the generations, from the remotest antiquity down to the present day. They establish an unchanging framework that places us in context with the universe. So, Pam, tell us about some of the hacks.
I will. And you know what? I would like to welcome and acknowledge some more comments. We have David Ray. Thanks so much for being here. Oh, yeah. And Scott Bragdon says, nice intro video. Thanks for that. I really appreciate that. All right, hacks. What is a hack? Oh, and we've got our friend Cliff with us too. So let's add Cliff because he's going to contribute to this conversation. No question. All right, so we're kind of wondering about what is a hack. What's the definition? What does it mean? And of course, we're talking about astronomy hacks.
And I'll put that link in chat
tonight. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And I highly recommend this book. It's quite extensive and helpful.
Oh.
And almost too much. Oh, hello.
Hello.
From Rome. Awesome. Thanks for being here. And I will read a little bit from it too. When we were growing up in the 60s, kids didn't sit around playing video games or listening to CDs or watching DVDs. We did things. We ground our own telescope mirrors with blanks and grit purchased from Edmunds Scientific, and built our scopes from sauna, tube, and pipe fittings. We built ham radio rigs from mostly scrounged components, and assembled rockets from salvaged conduit and Army surplus potatoes, and concocted our own fuels. We tapped our girlfriend's telephone lines, learned how to pick locks, and built dark rooms in the basement. We forged driver's licenses, tore down and rebuilt car engines, repaired our relatives' televisions and appliances, constructed silencers for our 22 squirrel rifles, and made general nuisances of ourselves. In other words, we spent most of our free time hacking, although the term had not yet been invented, and there's a little bit more to that that's very cool. The term seems to be a bit unsavory these days. Among those who write code, though, the term hack refers to quick and dirty solution to a problem or a clever way to get something done. And the term hacker is taken very much as a compliment, referring to someone as being creative, having the technical chops to get things done. And I also think of it as an unconventional solution. And I'm actually going to put this in right here because Cliff is with us. Cliff has found some really cool stuff. And let me go to that page. I'm actually going to start over here. So Cliff, you want to talk about this thing?
Nope, we lost him.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's too bad. He said he was having internet troubles. All right, so let's go back to what we were talking about before.
And we'll get back to that later.
We will return to that later. All right. So, and we really want to hear from you. What does the hack mean to you? Oh, there he is. Hey, Cliff, welcome back. All right, when we get him, we'll bring back that picture. So in the book, they have 4 general categories in this book, Astronomy Hacks, and this is by Robert Bruce Thompson and Barbara Fritchman Thompson, a married couple, though I found out Robert died a few years ago. So the general categories are getting started, observing hacks, scope hacks, and accessory hacks. It's a helpful structure, though, for us to kick off our discussion today. So I'm going to go through these again and pick one or more from each of these segments. And keep in mind, there are 65 total in this whole book. And we really want to hear from you, too. So, yeah, we have Cliff coming eventually, and we'll talk to him about his... It's sort of a shower, a camping shower cover.
Oh, shoot. We
keep losing him. All right, well, we'll work on that whenever we can. So stay tuned. Hopefully we will have Cliff with us. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start over here.
Let's just see if I can get him.
Okay.
Nope. Still no.
All right, so still having trouble with Cliff. Go ahead and share the screen, because I want to show you this thing. Oh. Nope, don't remove it. There we go. Hack? Oh, yay or nay? And I think this thing...
It looked like something out of a mad scientist villain lair.
All righty. So in the getting started part, it's kind of mostly general information. And I read the back of the book, and they also mentioned that, though there are a couple of interesting things.
Yeah, Scott.
Oh, what Scott say?
Scott says, wow, that is a hack and a half.
A hack and a half. All right, 1 vote for a hack and a half. Got it. We think it's pretty marvelous ourselves. And I think Cliff actually had that on his on the Pomona astronomy group. So that was pretty cool. I did find a couple of interesting things in this first part, getting started, and I hadn't really seen this before. They talk about measuring your entrance pupil size, and this is after it's been dark. You've been dark adapted, and the whole point of that is so that you know, and it's kind of, there's a little bit of scientific and math in there, so that you kind of know exactly what your eye will accommodate, and match up things like eyepieces and binoculars, so that you don't, and there's a term, if you know it, it's stop down. So if you have an opening so wide, you don't kind of cut off some of the light gathering abilities of your eyes, actually. And so the next one they talk about is equip yourself for urban observing. Choose the perfect grab and go scope for observing at a moment's notice. And I think this is kind of cool, especially if you have the room. We don't quite have the room here to have, you know, a tripod and a scope set up, so that if you want to go out, you know, out on your yard, your deck, your porch, whatever, and just take a look at something. It's basically ready. You pick it up, you take it out, you point, and you observe. And I do like things that set up very fast, like my little spotting scope. In about 2 minutes, I can have this up and running and do some observing with it, which I really love, especially when you're at a star party and there's kids around and everybody else is taking forever. Sorry. I really feel bad for them, because sometimes it takes a very long time to set up this. It's terrific equipment. It's just not really ready to go. So, you know, a grab and go, carry it out and start observing immediately. So we want to know if you think this is a good idea or not. Do you have the room? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
slightly off topic, in that first section, they talk um, about observing etiquette, so that you
Yes.
don't impinge upon other people's ability to observe,
Right.
like being aware of light sources and stuff like that. You know, don't go flashing around your cell phone because you'll ruin people's um, night vision.
And I didn't think of that so much as a hack, but that first section is a lot about, you know, some very regular stuff. There's some techniques in here. I wouldn't think of those as hacks either. But yeah, you make a really, really good point. If you do go out and spend time with other people who are used to observing, hopefully they're very nice about it, but they may say to you, please don't run your white lights. It's because it does, you know, bring your eye aperture opening much smaller.
Well,
It reduces.
it also causes a chemical change in the retina
Okay,
to
you
cause
better
the
tell us about that.
well, and I think it's yellow light that causes it, but I'm not sure exactly what.
Hmm.
But the retina flood will flood pigment into it to block light so that it doesn't burn.
Oh.
Which is why it's not the pupil, but when you see, you know, when you walk into a dark room from outside when it's really bright out, how it's completely dark in there for the first few seconds, your pupil actually adjusts really fast. It's the retina that has to dump that pigment.
Okay.
And so that's what takes a while and that's why it takes so long to get full night vision, is because that pigment has to get out of the retina.
Okay.
And so that's why it's such a bad thing to flash people who are trying to observe.
Yeah, and that can take 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, it's a significant portion of your night if you're only out for 2 or 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot to show you something with that. They call it a monster rig here. All right, go ahead and share the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Nope. There. Yep, there. Thanks. Here is all the stuff that is on that. I don't even know what this stuff is, but I wanted to make sure you saw the list. All right, so go ahead and come back. So in the part called Observing Hacks, they focus more on, you know, what you can do to protect your eyes. And I like to refer to number 12. You protect your night vision. You bring a towel and an eye patch, and they say that dark adaptation occurs individually for each eye, which I did not know, but it makes sense if that pigment has to reduce. That means you can keep one eye completely dark adapted by covering it with an eye patch whenever you are not using it to look through the eyepiece. The other eye is never fully dark adapted, which is not a big problem because you can do things like look at your charts, and you can look through the Telrad to actually, you know, zoom in on an object. And then what you do is you want to take a towel and cover yourself and your eyepiece so that you can remove that eye patch and look with the dark adapted eye still. And you can actually see better with this towel over your eye. And I think that's a brilliant idea. So that to me is kind of a hack. So, you know, this sort of thing mentions, they mentioned too is number 19. Yeah, go ahead and scroll up. keep a chart at your eyepiece. And I think that's okay if you're not like wandering around at a star party and looking through a variety of different telescopes, that kind of thing. Also, if you're kind of more advanced at setting your goals for observing, I really like something called skymaps.com. You can download a new map every single month and just use that for, like, you know, oh, I'm going to go looking for these things. And I have a page for that in just a second. We'll go through that a little bit later on.
Oh, Ricardo
Hello.
Santiago. Any hacks on how to get a visual of the Milky Way band? Is it just a matter of getting out there where there's no light pollution? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Sorry, Ricardo. You just have to get away from the lights.
Unfortunately, the light pollution is a bit pervasive in an urban environment.
Yeah, you kind of need to run a car into a power pole to.
What? No, we did not say that. All righty. So, and another good list is a Messier marathon, and these are nice for beginners. I think it's, you know, it's a great way to start, a great list of things to start with, goals to go for. There's also something called star hopping, and we sort of come up with these kind of neato mnemonics. One is arc to Arcturus and spike to Spica. And we also use like Orion's belt to point to various things, although, you know, we don't have a phrase for that. I'd be very curious to know if there's anything like that in the Southern Hemisphere. I've never been there. However, we do have some folks who visit us periodically that are from the Southern Hemisphere, and I would love to hear about that. Did we have another comment?
Oh, just
Awesome.
yeah. Yeah. I've heard rumors that looking through a pipe, really long pipe, will block out a lot of the side light. However, it would only work in very dry air because the city lights will shine on moisture in the air. So if you're in an area that might not be all that dark, but is really dry air, like a desert area, it might work. Or it might be one of those rumors that they started just to see people carrying pipes around and trying to look through them.
I don't know. I have heard that it is like an urban legend. So, all right, is Cliff back? Go ahead and pick the other one. Nope. Number three. No. No, go. Yes, there.
Well, he's not here yet.
He's not here yet. All right. Hopefully.
That's why I looked. Because he'll show up here.
Oh, all right. I see. Fair enough. Okay, so we'll just keep going through our list. All right, so let's see. We mentioned star hopping. And number 24 in this part, slow down. And it's kind of cutesy because they go with a song. Slow down, you move too fast. And really it's about looking at things and then paying attention a little more and spending a little more time. You'll start to notice more things. I think that's also included with, you know, how your eyes adapt, that kind of thing.
Well, and I think also it's kind of like looking at a painting for a long time. You notice more things as you look at it.
That's true. That's true. All right. So in the next segment of the book, it's called Scope Hacks. And I was really excited when I saw number 35 because it's called Eliminate Astigmatism. However, I found out they're talking about the mirror in the telescope itself. So if you get a telescope and it's traveled far, say from a foreign country, it might need to be adjusted. And what they're talking about there is there are some kind of clamps that hold down, especially the primary mirror in a telescope. And if they have been clamped too hard, this can actually distort the surface of the mirror. So is it clamped down too far? They say, you know, take it apart and loosen it up a bit. It should be just enough to keep it in the cell. And they actually, you know, said you ought to be able to slide a business card between the clamp and the mirror. You want to be careful, of course. You don't want to get grit on it or drop anything into it. So they talk about the secondary mirror setting as well. Is that either clamped or is it glued? Does that distort the secondary mirror? It should be perfectly flat. I was really sad because I really thought they could talk to me about how to overcome the astigmatism in my eyes.
I can see how they're clamped. Maybe unclamp your eyes a little bit. Okay. I was looking through the book too, and I found improved Dobsonian motion with milk jug washers.
That's number 42, by the way.
Yeah, which is the answer, of course.
Of course.
I don't know if you've ever seen a tripod or a scope that it just, as you're moving it, it kind of jerks as you're moving it, or, you know, you have to break it, you know, from where it is, and then it jumps. It jumps. And the issue is, like, especially with cheap Dobsonians, they might track smoothly when they're new, but the azimuth motions, the side to side motions, become rough and heavy as the scope breaks in. Basically, it wears the bearings a little bit, and that causes the drag. You can supplement the existing azimuth bearings by adding a center bearing instead of the three, just the three side edge bearings, made up of several thicknesses of plastic washers cut from flat-sided milk jugs, or nowadays gallon water jugs, but they didn't have those then. Or use old vinyls or old CDs or vinyl records.
which we don't really have anymore.
Yeah, they're called milk jug washers regardless. This will tell you how old the book is. And hey, Cliff. Oh, we
there
finally
he
got
is.
Cliff. Okay. There you go, Cliff.
Why don't you expand out? It's number 3 there. Number three. Okay.
There you go.
There's Cliff. All right. Have you been able to stabilize your connection? All right. We'll try. We're sharing Cliff's hack. It's very cool.
Yeah. You want me to show it?
Sure.
The internet down here is terrible.
I'm so sorry to hear that. So Cliff decided
Because it's upside down.
Cliff decided to get this device. Tell us about this, Cliff. Talk about this, what you found.
Oh, I'm wondering if Cliff can't hear us.
Keeps on trying to catch up. Oh, there we
Oh,
are.
I see. It's there's a lag. All right, so I'll talk about it. Cliff found this. It's like a camping shower kind of cover thing. And he decided to put it over his telescope. Here's a little bit better shot of it. And it protects it from the elements. And he says it's great. Yeah, Cliff?
I think that's a bit blown up.
Oh, it's okay. We want people to see it.
Besides, I don't think that's bigger than it is.
No. And so he says you just pull it right off. And you can use your scope after you do. And he also likes this awning thing to protect from the sun.
And a happy dog.
Happy dog, yeah. All right, well, let's go talk to Cliff again. Let's see if we can actually have a conversation with him.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh.
Well, he looks good in the one aspect. Interesting.
And it's lagging a lot here.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, well.
We'll do our best to get Cliff back with us.
Yeah. Cliff's been having some weather.
Yes, a lot of weather. A real lot of weather. So I think you were talking to us about
accessory hacks, yeah.
Yeah, accessory hacks. Jeff found a good one too.
Yeah, and this is the first thing that I found, and I just liked it a lot. It's number 44.
Yep.
Dark adapt your notebook computer. Oh, hang on.
Hello.
Hey, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. Notebook displays produce enough light to destroy your night vision and that of everyone else in the vicinity. And we mentioned observing etiquette, and the last thing you want to do is shine white light around. So they talk about 4 ways of protecting vision using a notebook or a laptop. You can dim the display. It mitigates the problem a little bit, but it's still got a lot of the white light and blue light that can kill your night vision. Some of the observing apps have night vision mode, which basically turns them darker and redder to protect your night vision.
Yeah.
But all of the Windows or Mac icons are still at their normal colors, so it's of limited utility. If you hit F11 and it takes up your whole screen, great. If you hit anything else, suddenly your night vision's toast. On Windows, I don't know about Mac, but on Windows, you can create a desktop theme that's using reds and blacks that, basically means that nothing's showing that will mess with your night vision. But then in normal daylight, it might be hard to undo that because you might not be able to see it well enough to undo that theme. So the one that I like the best is cover your display with a red plastic film.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and they mentioned 2 things. Something called Rubylith film that you can get from commercial printing companies, or if you have a theater supply shop, just red transparent plastic film that they use for putting over their lights, to give different colors to the stage. And that's that's fairly inexpensive. You can cut it to shape, and you know, and it and that's, I think, what I've seen most often when I've gone observing and see people have their laptops out.
Probably, yeah. And I used to work for a company that had these, they called them gels, and it was great because you could actually flip through a book like you flip through paint books and find the one with your preferred frequency. Actually, it looks like Cliff has joined us in the chat.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Hi, Cliff.
Yep. Sorry. So, that's too bad, Cliff.
Yeah.
We'll try again another time.
Sorry, man.
Yep.
We really wanted to have more
and
interactions with everyone.
And the odd thing is that we were having a good conversation with him before the show.
Totally worked fine.
And now during the show, his internet is giving him trouble.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, let's see. Yeah.
You have to add him.
Oh, yeah.
There he is. Can you hear us, Cliff?
We can see you.
Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you too.
It's playing up for you guys.
Yeah.
Facebook's coming through, but the it just doesn't want to work the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to hear
what
that.
it is. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, so am I.
All right, so sorry to hear that.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I think he's playing something else on there.
Yeah. No, it's just you delayed.
Oh, I see. So keep in mind, in this book, there is much, much more about hacks, techniques, kind of foundational information. I think about it. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. And I know it is a little bit old in terms of publication date. A lot of it is still relevant today, though.
Yeah, like you might not be able to find DVD or CD or vinyl records anymore for some of the stuff, but it gives you the idea. Right.
So, and personally, I've come across some and figured some out as well. So, yeah. Oh, here we got it. Hey, Dan. Glad you could join us. What does he say? I can't read it.
Starlink internet would be a good Cliff hack.
Oh, there you go.
Well, maybe, but remember that moisture in the air interrupts microwave signal, which means that
does it?
Yeah, which means that satellite internet is weather dependent.
Oh,
if okay. I worked with someone setting up their rig, and even if it was misting, they would lose signal. So
no kidding.
Yeah. So
all right. So yes, is there more? No. Okay. Go ahead and share the screen. No. Yep. All right. So when I was in Ohio, I saw this. You would take a film canister, and you might be able to find these still, maybe not though, and an LED light like this one. You would separate the two leads, and that's like the bottom image here. No, sorry, you'd poke it through the top. You poke the leads through the top of this, and then separate them and twist the ends around so that they would fit on top of some batteries. Oh, but you want to put the crumpled foil in the bottom. And we would actually even use things like the metal foil from chewing gum for this. You would, I put the batteries in, and go ahead and make sure you keep them from moving around too much with something wadded up, paper, a little bit of fabric, things like that. And you would put the top back on, and mind you, you'd have to keep it in the proper direction because, oops, here's the circuit. An LED is you have to match it to the battery ends. Oh, and I forgot to mention something. Sorry. Whoops, where is it? The batteries have to be swapped around. So one is facing up, the little pip is facing up, and the other one is facing down because you want to create what's called a series. You put them in series. Now, we never really used a resistor in this. I think the foil was probably enough resistance for an LED with a couple of AA batteries. So we weren't too worried about it. And what's this next one? All right. So some of the other hacks that we would find. Well, this is something that I kind of created. I noticed it and used it. So it's basically the shadow. And this is kind of a sophisticated version because you notice they have a couple little like file cards that are matched up. And when the shadow is from the top one is on the bottom one, you're basically lined up. You can look at, either the sun and it works for a bright moon too, using the shadow of the equipment, or in this case, they've put them on the finder scope. This is part of the finder scope here, so that you could, actually see this without too much trouble. Has anyone ever done that? I'm very curious to find out if anyone's been able to. Can we get Cliff? Can we talk to Cliff? Yep. Looks like he's still here. Have you ever done this, Cliff? The shadow?
I've got a similar thing on one of my scopes, my gobs, for doing solar viewing, so that you can actually see the sun on the back finder. So you can line it up without having to look at the sun.
Yeah.
And that will cast a little shadow and spot on there. That works great. Yeah.
Is this something is this something that you devised, or was it a tool you bought to add to your scope?
Oh, it was on my scope when I got it, but I've seen them around. It's a couple of minutes to make something up, to be honest. Pieces of paper and a couple of paper clips, just as long as they're in line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there. And I don't even know why they have the notch here, because if it's similar, it just has to line up.
Well,
just that fine V for focus. So when it's in the V, you'll see it on the back one, and you'll see the notch, and then okay, I'm really very close to it.
Got it. Okay, good point.
Instead of moving it around, that's a really fine dot to point it at.
Well, and it also is useful for knowing that you're not too far over, because if the shadow's on the whole thing, you don't know where it is necessarily. But if a little bit of it's showing,
you're way off.
All right, I see. Okay.
You just want it on the tip.
Yep.
You just want it on the tip, just like a rifle barrel, but in reverse.
Okay. Yep. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I've only just ever used my equipment. I've used the big Dobsonian, and I've also done this with my spotting scope. This thing here, you want to get like the smallest shadow footprint that you can get.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the spotting, yeah, go ahead, Cliff.
I also use a laser strapped to the side of the scope so that people can see it during the night. It's not something that you leave on and spot aircraft, of course.
Right.
Big fine and big problem. It is illegal to do such in Australia. So because I'm with an astronomical group, I am allowed to use a laser for that purpose. It's like having to have a license for a shotgun, to be honest. It's a big bad no pointing lasers into the night sky.
Yeah, here too. Yeah,
just for those people out there that want to know.
Yeah,
I think in California you can't have it within X degrees of the horizon, because if you're pointing it straight up, who cares if you're shining on the bottom of an airplane? But if you're shining it sideways, you can hit someone's windshield.
Yeah, I know there are a number of rules for that. That's why I haven't done that yet. And I'd be curious to know, do you need like some support, or do you put it straight on the body of the scope? How do you add that to your equipment?
I just usually, I actually physically mount them and sight them up as like a finder scope. And then once it's on there, I don't have to bother again.
So you align it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, a couple of them. I've got a couple of them.
Very cool. So speaking of the spotting scope, like I was before,
they have
go ahead.
To be rather intense to actually see. They have to be rather intense so you can see the beam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it has
If
to
you
be a
use
really
a
good one.
low-powered one, you won't see the beam going up into the sky. So
Okay.
yeah, it has to
All
be about 5 milliwatts or something like that.
5 mils. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. You use a red or green?
I use green.
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been seeing green here more as well. I'm not sure if there's a reason for that.
It's the last thing your eyes will see, the last color your eyes will see when you go blind. It's the most intensive color that your eye can actually see. That's why when you go to a factory and they have an eye wash thing, it's all surrounded by green lights, so you can see where you're going.
Oh, interesting. All right. I know red is good for things and blue kind of washes things out. So green. All right. Good to know. Anything
Yes.
else for us about that?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Because I wanted to talk about the spotting scope because you'll notice there's no finder involved with
Yes.
this particular device. So I struggled for a while trying to figure out how to find things with it. And some things are very easy, like the moon. It's pretty much, point and shoot. Yeah, we got a comment?
Oh, Daniel just says higher powered lasers are usually green.
Green. Oh, I see. Okay, so it has to do with power.
No, I think that's just what they use for.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, how do I use my spotting scope? And some people have these for like hunting, so you can actually repurpose it for astronomy if you know this hack. And I actually had a student in my class who was like, how do I do this? And I was like, well, here's what I discovered. If you have some surface, trees or hills or towers, telephone poles are good. You use them. Oh, hey, Tex. Tex has joined us. Hello. Awesome. Yeah, we're still talking about hacks over here. So if you have some too, we want to hear from you. And so
most of the lasers I've used for my telescopes come with a mounting bracket. They're not just those round handhold ones.
Oh, very interesting.
And
okay.
they have adjustment screws top and side to align it. So once it's mounted, you can adjust the laser to line it up with what you're looking at, just like a spotting scope.
Just like the finder, yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, just like a spotting scope. Yeah,
yeah.
Just
The
the
spotting scope doesn't have a finder.
Yeah, you probably would be able to attach one, carefully if you glue it or strap it with zip ties, and line it up like that. So you'd be able to I'll get around it. I'll tell you right now, And yes, it would make it very easy so that you just point the laser and oh look, there's Jupiter. Look straight through the telescope. Bang! It's right there in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think about alignment.
So much easier.
I have
once,
to play with
once,
that.
Once you attach it, yes. Once you attach it, then like I say, the ones I were getting, they were actually for rifles or pistols, and they have the adjustment screws on the side and on the top, so you can move it left or right, up and down. So once it's physically mounted and it's hard mounted, you can still adjust that and line it up perfectly.
Boy, that's great to know, because all I do is find some feature on the on the ground, and as I can see it, and I'll line up with, okay, so there's Jupiter, what's right under it? So I'll find that in my spotting scope and then just go straight up until I see the object I'm looking for. So it's very simple, and it seems to work pretty well most of the time.
Sometimes you have to raster to find it.
Yeah.
Backwards and forwards, up and down, side to side, diagonal.
Yep.
It's there somewhere.
I never mess with diagonal. That's too complicated for me.
Yeah.
All right, so you're up next.
Okay. So
it always takes longer when you've got somebody waiting to look through the telescope too. Did you know that? It's generally always takes forever. I can't get it lined up because there's somebody waiting.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
No pressure.
You go straight on, oh, look, I found it straight away.
No pressure. All right. So, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
okay. Well, if that's it for now, stick around for 54.5 seconds and we'll be right back.
Cliff, any other hacks you can think of?
The only other thing is get yourself a telescope trolley to be able to drag your telescope in and out. It makes it so much easier.
Did you find your picture? Can you share with us?
No, I can't find it.
That's okay.
I did send it to you. I did send it to you on Messenger.
Oh, let's see if I can find it.
Well, it was Facebook, on Facebook. So I sent it to you, but whether you got it or not, it's another thing.
Let me check.
Oh.
You know it's live when.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyone in the audience, text or David or Daniel or Scott or Ricardo. Have you found anything that's interesting, cool, to make your life easier, involving observing, using telescopes? It's coming.
Maybe.
I always love it when
I made telescope trolleys for my big telescopes because, well, the LX200 with the field tripod and that weighs probably nearly, I'd say 100 pounds or more. It's bloody heavy. And to try to even lift the telescope head onto the tripod, you really need two people. So that made a bonus for me, making something that you could cart it in, wheel it in, wheel it out.
So I do have the one picture from before with the awning. Is that what you want to?
No,
that too. If you've got a vehicle, you can have an awning out with covering your telescope when you set it up during the day, and then you can just roll the awning back and it's all out. Keeps the dew off it, rain, all that sort of thing. Keeps the telescope cool before the evening. You can set it all up during the day. That's just a standard four-wheel drive roof awning over here. They've got them everywhere. They just roll out. They've got pegs, long legs and stuff like that. And it's great to have everything set up. You can put your seats and stuff there. And then when the night, you just roll it back. The telescope's ready to use. And then if weather does change foul, you can always roll it back out and cover your telescope up. It's one of those things that's just movable.
It does have wheels in that thing. So.
Yeah, so I do have a picture of it here. Scott had a comment. Let's hear that first.
Yeah, Scott, I'm a baby astronomer.
Astronomer, yay!
Well, now you're learning some hacks, Scott. But,
and you will.
And it's a big learning curve. Yeah. It's a big learning curve.
Hang out with people who do this, and you'll learn fast.
So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and this actually shows a tripod trolley.
Yeah, the trolley's there. Let's
Yeah.
see, can I blow this up any?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's one of my
No.
tripod trolleys.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I wonder if I do.
That's one of my tripod trolleys.
Yeah, right here.
And as you can see, the awning, you can wheel it out underneath it, or just set your telescope up. Just had it set that way, and unfortunately, it looks like my dog's died.
Nah, the feet are up. We're seeing Happy Dog there.
Yeah, that looks like Happy Dog.
No, she's probably laughing at me.
Yeah.
All right. So if anyone else has hacks, let us know. We would love to learn more about that. And let's see, go back to both of us.
Oh,
we don't need to share screen right now.
Okay. There we go.
Hello.
Okay. Some stellar events this week. April 1st through April 8th. April 1st is the new moon. Also, there's a new PDF from skymaps.com.
Now you can share a screen. There you go. All right, so this is skymaps.com, and I've never really told you about this before. I think it's a wonderful tool, however. And you go to skymaps.com, you scroll down just a little bit, and there's lots of stuff here you can read. What I'm looking for here is this link under the picture. Download the latest issue. So I'm going to demonstrate how you get your sky map every single month for free. Click on this link and look for the one that's appropriate to you. This is the first page of the sky map, but you want to scroll down a little more. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you look for the April 2022 Northern Hemisphere. Download is the big red button there. They have also March and February if you want to look back in time a little bit. If you are near the equator, they have this one. And if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, go ahead and click on this one. So I'm going to go use the one I know the best. You go ahead and click on that big red download button, and you'll get a 2-page PDF. And I just love this. I'm going to blow it up a little bit and talk about a couple things here. There's a list of things like the new moon and Mercury is at superior conjunction, that kind of stuff. It has the date and tells you when. It's static. It's unlike a planisphere that changes. This thing is good for early April at 10 p.m. or late April at 9 p.m. There's some words around here that sort of demonstrate how you use it too. You actually read the words in the circle around here, and you have a great map in the middle here. Let me go back to fit, where all the stars that are visible at those times are. You've got your symbols, and just like a road map, it's going to tell you whether they're things like galaxies, double stars, variable stars. Scott, this would be a great tool for you to start with. And what I really love here on the back is some information, glossary, and my favorite part is, in fact, this right-hand side, because it's a great list of things you can start looking for, things you can go for. And there have naked eye objects, as well as things you can see with binoculars and telescopes. And I literally use this as a journaling page. I put the date in the margin. I draw little pictures of things, like if I've seen the moons of Jupiter, that kind of thing. And I will go right down the list, and in between Capella and the name Auriga, in this case, I'll put a check mark. Did I see that? Here's their symbol again. What is it? Which magnitude star? Is it a globular cluster? That kind of thing. And a little bit of information right here about Capella. So I saw that. I put a check mark there. Arcturus, that's a good one. I put a check mark there. And Sirius. So right on down the line, it's a nice list of things you can go for, especially if you're a beginner. And a lot of people have binoculars, so that's really easy. And if you go out and you have telescopes available, you can definitely do the same thing here. So let's see. I think we're going back to us.
Yep.
And it looks like Cliff found his picture.
Yeah, hang on one moment.
We got it. Okay.
David Ray. Hey, David.
Hi, David.
Taking pictures of the full moon, I do this. I use a 200 millimeter lens with a doubler on it. After I set the exposure, I fold up a towel so it's thick and soft and balance it on the chair. Then I sit the camera on the towel pointed up at the moon and give it a pretty clear image. And it gives a pretty clear image with a several second exposure. It's sharp enough that I can crop it in picture editor software that the moon image will fit the whole laptop screen. Oh, neat.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Great tip. I don't know a lot about astrophotography yet. I'm so glad you said that, though, David. Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate that. So if you have a camera and you know what he said.
Oh, shoot.
Did we lose David again? Oh my God.
We lost Cliff again.
Cliff, sorry.
We lost Cliff again.
Because he was sharing the picture.
Yeah, I was just about to share his screen too.
Darn.
Because he had one of his trolleys on there.
Yeah, I saw that. So hopefully, with any luck, we'll get Cliff back and we will share that as well.
Or if we can't get that image up, maybe he can post a link to it in the chat or something so that
Cool.
so that other people can see it. But yeah, he's been having trouble with the signal down in Australia.
We will keep trying.
Yeah. Okay. April, more on what you can see this week. April 3rd, Uranus and the moon are in conjunction. April 4th, Mars and Saturn. Hey, Cliff, I see you're coming.
There he is.
There you are.
Finding that video. I got it.
Yep.
I've got that video.
Cool.
If you want to see
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Sorry.
No, we'll share it right now before we lose you again.
Yeah. Get well. The getting's good here. Let's try to. Not
you
yet.
got controls. You can.
What?
Those you control those.
What control?
Right there.
Yeah, but it's trying to play. Oh, there it goes. It's playing. Maybe. Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
Right. So when you need to get the hook like that, and you push it around. Whatever. Put the brakes on.
Oops. The video. Oops.
Out. Slide it down to the same mark. Right, like that. Put the pin back in. Folds up nice and neat. Take that off. I've got to do it with my hands, bro. Get the dog. Sit there like that. Over the top. Round the bearing. Bang. Done. Now that can't go anywhere. Pop the lock off. If you want, you can leave that on. Just pull it around like that. Slide it out. Behind there. And now it will go anywhere you want it. Like that.
Okay. Okay. We've got the gist of that now. Yeah. It was not coming through very well audio wise, but
Yeah.
at least we see what you made there, and so that's really cool.
How's that? How's that?
Do this one.
Yeah.
It gets us both in.
Yeah. Okay. So
I hope you like it.
oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Thanks for sharing, Clef. We really.
Yeah,
I
don't worry
remember
about
that.
that. That was for Dave Renike.
Mm-hmm.
I made that for Dave Renike because he's got a big 12-inch and it's really hard to move around. So that just instantly makes it so convenient. So anybody can make one of those, but it's just some people just need to see sometimes the idea, and then they can go, "Hey, I can do that." So yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
That's part of what we're all about here. Thank you so much for sharing.
Not a problem.
All right, so we got a couple more here. It's a pretty quiet week in the sky.
Yep. Yeah, April 4th, Mars and Saturn are in conjunction. April 6th is weekly space hangout, and they're doing another news roundup, which means they don't have a guest, but then neither do we. So
No.
not really one to talk.
We
Well,
can-
Cliff is here,
Cliff is here.
but he's not an official guest. He wasn't. We didn't announce him.
No.
as a
No.
guest.
It's April the 1st over there, isn't it?
Yes.
Still April the 1st.
Yes.
It's April the 2nd there for you, right?
Yeah, it's now the 2nd, but April the 1st is our 22nd wedding anniversary. We got married on
God.
April Fool- we got married on April Fool's Day, so we never forget it. 2000.
I love it. Congratulations.
There's always a purpose in life for something.
Very good. All right, and there's one more for you for your list.
You know, you missed something right there. Have either the preacher or the court, whoever was officiating, say, "Nah, I'm not really official here. Sorry."
Yeah, well,
Oh.
it's either I get that comment or look, you'd be getting out of prison by now. You know, it's one or the other. You go for murder, you know. You'd be getting out of prison by now for murder. Yeah, no. We actually even got married on our property. So, 22
Nice.
years. Basically, you're today. Yes, the time lag is a bit of a bugger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Good. All right, back to you.
Okay. And so April 4th, Mars and Saturn are.
Nope, you said that already.
Oh, okay. April 6th, weekly. Oh, I
You
said
said
that one
that
too.
too.
Okay. Back to April 8th, Friday night show.
Yep.
Viewer panel.
We'll
Basically,
see.
given how hard it's been to talk to Cliff, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to do up enough stuff that if I have to, I can do it myself. Just like we did thrusters from Earth, I want to talk about any thrusters, including ones that only operate in space, which will include the ion thrusters, Orion, which, if you remember that from the 70s, you know, toss a nuke out the back and use it for thrust. Can't really do that launching from Earth. People would get cranky. But I want to see if we can get some more interaction. So we'll open it up for people to be on, because found out we can get up to 10 people on here. Now, it could end up being a mess, or it could work really well.
We'll see.
We'll see. But you can find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on Everyday Spacer Facebook page and Everyday Spacer YouTube channel.
All right. Say that 10 times fast. So, some ongoing events and activities. I actually heard about this last Wednesday during the overview roundtable. This is something that Frank White holds weekly. He started in 2020 and has continued that today. So go ahead and share screen. I will talk about this. It's Space Prize, and it's empowering young women to participate in the growing space economy. I think it's kind of marvelous. And if you know anybody who might be interested in participating, Let's see this. I didn't read this yet. Sorry. Oh, 5 New York City schools, and this is really cool. They're going to get a 0G flight and mentorship from an influential woman in the space industry. They're going to launch this on June 2022. Oh, it is global. Okay, so interesting. All right. Promotes advancement of women in STEAM. That's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We're talking 15 to 18-year-old young women worldwide. The contest features a combination of written, video, and creative submissions. The prize winners, they say this is worth $250,000 of private astronaut experiences. I did have a little bit more, so if you wanted to support them, there's a way to do that. And they sent me their slide deck, so that's kind of cool. All right, so I think you can go ahead and get back to, yeah. So there is still an opportunity to nominate a student with perseverance. That opened March the 24th. This is 6th through 8th grade students in U.S. public schools, private schools, and home schools. There's 4 rounds total. This is round number 3, and there's some pretty cool awards. Check that out. We got some links too.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead and show the first one. For space, yeah, there you go, spaceprize.org. And that was for the one I just showed you. Now we're going to talk about Perseverance, right?
And now the next one.
This is, if you haven't had a chance to fill in the form, you can fly your name around the moon. We checked before the show, and that appeared to still be in operation. This is to adding your name to the Artemis 1 test flight of the Space Launch Systems. I guess our names are going to get onto a flash drive.
Mm-hmm.
Then, too, the European Space Agency has Build Your Web Challenge. Oh, I didn't check that one before this, but it has been ongoing. As far as we can know, as far as we can tell, this is something worldwide for young people ages 6 through 19. If you know, even from school or from home, it doesn't matter. But you can get really creative and build your own model of the James Webb Space Telescope using any materials you like, including food, apparently. All right, and I think we have. Oh, and okay, so they don't say anything about the location, so we presume this is something you can see, you can enter into from anywhere in the world. Go ahead and close this out.
Okay, if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, April 8th, for hopefully viewer panel, thrusters for deep space. I wanted to say something else, but Pam wouldn't let me.
It's not that kind of show. So we'll just try something a little different. See if we can get a group, like he said, we can have about 10 at once live. That should be fun.
Yep.
All right. So we will look for your comments after the show in the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel.
Oh, and we
did get a new one?
Scott.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott.
My nephews thought those Artemis tickets were real and would get them to the moon.
Oh no. Sorry about that.
Oh well.
It's for fun. It is for fun. Let's clarify. It is very fun though.
Unless you drive them down to Florida and like if you've got a really tall ladder and get there in the dead of night, you might be able to sneak them on board. It
is interesting though, because young people like your nephews seem to be will have a chance to do more things involving space exploration. So the idea that they thought they could actually go and do that, kind of not too far-fetched, kind of interesting actually. All right, so we will look for your comments and we will see you in a week. Have a great one. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.